me,
No,
it's
no.
like early afternoon. I go to bed 5 a.m. because I watch the news from Europe and it started at 2 a.m.
I see.
So
You're living in
yeah,
a EU time zone, even though, or EU time, even though you're living in Thailand.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
got it.
And to contact my friends, it's like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. I had the same issue. I was living in the States for some time, and my friends were in
mm,
Japan and all over
yeah.
the world. Time
Mm.
zones are a pain in the butt. Okay,
Yeah,
let me
but
find.
everywhere I go, I always go to bed very, very late. So
Yeah,
here
yeah.
I have this advantage that I can talk with my friend. It's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. for them, so it's very good.
Okay,
You are 2 hours ahead. It's 10:30 for you, right?
yeah, yeah. I think we're actually live right now on the YouTube. So let me just grab
Okay,
this. I'm going to
okay,
give you the
that's cool.
link. Where is this in the meet?
I will I will just check it out.
Here's the link over in the meet,
Okay, I got a live notification.
and I'm gonna put this on Twitter.
Okay. So I turn off the sound. For now, we have a like a
Oh yeah,
black screen. Yeah, yeah, but it's very
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Perfect. Hi everyone, is somebody already listening?
There we
We're
go.
coming soon. We're coming soon.
You're in the sneak peek. Proof of life over on YouTube now. Okay, I got a tweet out if
Okay, let me just check.
and let me
Actually, it's a good day to make a live because we hit the 50,000 US dollar for
Oh
Bitcoin
yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, yeah, quite scary also, you know.
Yeah, we're quite
I,
precarious, right? Quite high.
I am high sick. I am high sick in
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
So okay,
Okay,
I retweet it and I will tweet it again. Okay, good.
we're there. I think we're good now. I I think everyone can hear us, right? Okay. Good. Okay, so maybe let's start. Is that okay with you, Nostradamus?
I'm always ready for you, sir.
Okay, so thank you for joining us on stream. I have the wrong camera set up. Let's go here. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Um, First off, if you don't know Nostradamus, you probably know Nostradamus more than you know me. Obviously, he's has been running a very cool technical analysis channel that focused exclusively on ADA or cryptocurrencies, from what I remember, and very passionate delivery, and a lot of very interesting observations to be trading against the Bitcoin, not fiat coins, and other things that I really liked to pay attention to. And during the course of that, he had a really interesting idea that actually I'm personally interested in, because I do have 4 children and a wife, and a little bit concerned about how do they get into my crypto in the future. So yeah, thank you for joining us. How should I address you? Nostradamus, is that the correct way, or?
Yeah, most people know me as Nostradamus.
Okay.
The proof of life was under another name because
Mm-hmm.
Nostradamus had some supporter and trolls.
Okay.
So when you start to have trolls, it's good sign.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're doing something
And
right if somebody's angry online, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I am. If I want to compare myself with some YouTubers, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
here to be loved.
Yeah,
I'm not here to have the maximum like, maximum followers.
yeah.
When I see something going wrong, and I don't want to go into those topics, but
Mm-hmm.
I just need to raise my voice. And I have like 100 view per video. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not that much compared to Charles, who have like thousand and thousand of viewers. His voice has a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime when he was doing things that I consider as wrong, like fighting crypto, Chico
Mm-hmm.
crypto, for example, things
Mm-hmm.
like that, I was like, okay, It's not my style, and then I raise my voice. But it's a long story. I don't want to go in deep into that. And for the proof of life, actually, people know me as Badass Concept. There's always
Ah, yeah, yeah,
ADA
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
name.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
capital ADA. Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
got it,
exactly.
got it, got it.
But yeah, I actually follow the project
Mm-hmm.
since not the beginning, but like early 2018. And I met Charles in Hong Kong. I traveled
I saw your
9,000
video
kilometers.
where you were interviewing him actually in a
Yeah,
some kind
yeah.
of conference.
It was a 45 minutes interview that
Mm-hmm.
actually is being hacked. My YouTube channel has been hacked
Oh no.
by a Cardano ambassador.
Oh really?
Yeah, I know who. I know who. I know who. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You're back on YouTube now though. You're making new content, new
Um,
videos. I've seen a few.
I made a, I don't want to get angry at anyone
Yeah,
anymore
yeah, yeah.
because
Okay.
actually okay, if we have time, I just need to
Yeah,
just explain a little bit. When
please
I
do.
came in 2018, it was this famous stuff like Q1 Shelly Q1 2018,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was thinking, okay, let's get a pool when
Mm-hmm.
it's ready and let's stake. I had like a quite a lot of money there.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, that's my project. And then we came all the way to 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was about to open the pool, and then the pool just was banned for some stupid reason
Uh,
on social, not on Daedalus, not there, but on social.
yeah, yeah.
So all in all, it was like, okay, my retirement plan, because I'm 50, and in Thailand, when you're 50, you are considered as retired, which is
Yeah.
good. But I
Mm-hmm.
started working when I was 17, so
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of years ahead, so I can retire early.
Yeah.
So my retirement plan just went down just because of a few people,
Mm-hmm.
and that was made me sad. So I'm back on YouTube now, just not pushing Cardano all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just now, I will do stupid pool videos testing
Mm-hmm.
pools, but actually testing real swimming pools,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
In
Uh,
Thailand, there I think swimming pools might be more important than stake pools for now. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We don't have stake pools in Thailand, I think, at the
Yeah, yeah.
moment. I think there's maybe one.
There's one lady who runs. I think it's BKK, named after the
Yeah.
airport,
Okay.
and DKK
Okay.
or something.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
pretty active on Twitter. I'll send you a link after the chat if you're
Okay.
interested.
Okay.
But
So
yeah.
yeah, but it's a nice way to enter
Mhm.
hotels.
Mhm.
Ask them a question like, do you accept cryptocurrency? And then
Mhm.
you make a video, you post the video, you send it to the manager,
Mhm.
and then you ask them to have a meeting, and then we can talk crypto.
Yeah.
That's the way I can enter hotels in a way to talk about crypto, just as a customer
Yeah.
who just say, yeah, that's nice, but did
Mhm.
you hear about Bitcoin? And from
Yeah.
now, $50,000, a lot of people will hear about Bitcoin.
Can you talk
So
a little bit about how you found Cardano or cryptocurrency in general? You just mentioned Bitcoin, right? Like,
yeah,
how long have
yeah.
you been in the cryptocurrency space and that kind of thing?
I bought my few Bitcoin to buy Cardano, right? So I never bought any other coin than
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin or Cardano. I
Mm-hmm.
have to admit that sometimes I play between
Yeah, yeah. Back and
Cardano
forth.
and Bitcoin, just to try to grab a few more, but
Mm-hmm.
never to convert to fiat money.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, yeah, I directly thought, without going deep into Bitcoin, that this energy consuming problem is not long-term view. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to destroy the planet with a coin, I mean, there's no vision there,
Yeah.
right? So the vision, I definitely wanted to have a proof of stake system, and then I had a bunch of things. And then my really first video, it was a whiteboard, but not the whiteboard from Charles that everybody look and say,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I love Charles, he is
Mm-hmm.
the man."
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I saw the very first video I saw. It was what is his name again now? Jesus, I call him Jesus. This developer with the long hair, I forget his name. Oh, sure.
Big pay?
No, 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 no,
The
no,
boom
no.
boom?
No, no, no. A developer at IOHK, one of the brain.
Oh,
Come on, come on.
Crypto
Somebody in
Jesus.
the chat, put his name, the name of that guy, Patrick. Yeah, you
Patrick,
can just
who
uh,
who's got the long
developer.
hair? Who's got the
Oh,
long-haired IOHK
can you
developer?
go to IOHK and type
Yeah, let me pull it
the,
up.
the team stuff? And he's the guy. Oh, come on. Uh, I could say it 100 times, but now we are live, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
under pressure.
Team IOHK. Let's see if they're on there. Yeah,
I'm very sorry about that,
Patrick.
but it looks like it's very natural. It's not prepared. It's very natural way of doing things. Okay, 1 second.
Where are we?
Yeah, no, 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 no.
Development down here.
The developer. Normally
Oh,
it should be
Duncan.
Duncan,
Duncan
Duncan,
Goods.
Duncan. One happy man, Duncan.
I didn't know who you were
Duncan,
talking about, but you
Duncan
said
Goods. Come on.
somebody who looks like
Nostradamus, you are
Jesus.
you are you
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
are you are tired. You are
yeah.
tired. Okay, Duncan Goods. So my very first video was
Uh-huh.
this Duncan holding this cup of coffee
Mm-hmm.
for about 45 minutes, changing from hand to hand, never
Mm-hmm.
drink any kind of any sip of coffee, but just changing. I was
Mm-hmm.
this guy, this guy, this guy. And then I went deep. He was talking about high insurance programming, very interesting things
Mm.
that we never
Mm.
heard about. I never heard about in any other crypto space. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, let's digging in a little bit in this. And then another guy told me, did you hear about Hoskinson? And then I Googled Hoskinson and I found this whiteboard and I said, okay, that's maybe the project I need to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, we had to be patient until finally we got a product. But yeah, I never wanted to be rich with Cardano. I just wanted to stake my stake and have like I was making like 120 ADA per day,
Mm-hmm.
which now will be just
Now
awesome,
that's
right?
enough to live as a single retiree in Thailand, right? That's plenty. If
that
yeah.
that you're the king there
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
this amount of
yeah.
money, right?
I had a
So
lot of good green curry and various things when in Koh Samui when I went to Thailand
yeah,
in undergrad.
yeah,
So
that's one of the reasons why I choose Thailand
yeah,
as
yeah,
a country for food.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
So
you
yeah,
came up with this proof of life concept. How like what were you thinking? How was it
all
inspired?
right.
Do,
So
do you
when
mind
I
if I
met,
have a beer, by the way, while we're talking? Is it okay?
if you don't mind if I have a Coke,
Okay,
I don't take
okay.
alcohol.
Cheers. Yeah, I kind of figured you're a healthier guy than I am, so.
I am a luxury vegetarian. I can explain
Ah,
you this later offline if you want.
I was a vegetarian for 6 years, and
Mhm.
actually, I stopped being a vegetarian when I was in Thailand on a vacation
Okay,
because
all right.
I was running low on money, and the bungalow I was staying at had a free barbecue chicken night, and in order to save money, I decided, okay, let's have the barbecue chicken, and after I broke my 6 year streak, I thought, well, no point in getting back on it now. But I try not to eat so much meat for probably similar reasons to you, but yeah,
Like
funny.
everything in life,
Yeah,
Alex, you need to feel good with it.
yeah,
If you feel good with it for 6 years, then change. If why going against that? I
yeah.
mean, it's just
My digestive system is still very good from all those years of all that fiber. I have no problems from that. So yeah.
that's good. That's good.
So you're living in Thailand. I imagine you're like zipping around on scooters, and you're imagining your life is flashing before your eyes, and what's gonna happen if
Yeah, exactly.
something happens.
Yeah, but actually, to come back to the proof of
Mm.
life, how it come from. When I met Charles in Hong Kong, to go back to what I was
Mm-hmm.
previously saying, is that offline I asked him the question, Charles, personally as a person,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do to help mass adoption?
Mm-hmm.
And Charles very wisely answered me, before we think about mass adoption, we need to solve problems. And I said, yeah, what kind of problems?
Mm-hmm.
He said, very simple problems like what happens if you die
Mm-hmm.
in an accident and you have nobody informed about what's going on, and
Mm-hmm.
what happens if you lose your key. I mean, he makes security video talking how he handle his key.
Yep.
I mean, I will never tell the way I do
Mm.
my stuff because it's
You you
opening
you
the
you
bridge, right?
you've been revealing a little
But
bit on in the comments,
yeah,
right?
but
Yeah, it's very
as I
good.
know, Charles, he's just sending us in a honeypot, and
Okay.
he's doing something totally different. He will
Yeah.
use my proof of life system. So basically, proof of life is solving those two problems. What
Mm-hmm.
happens if you die in an accident?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have a lung cancer, you have the time to set up things, to
Mm-hmm.
transfer things. But
Mm-hmm.
in case of an accident, most of the people will lose their money there,
Mm-hmm.
and the handling. And you made absolutely beautiful video how to handle your seeds, and it's a great, cheap,
Yeah.
efficient way, very very great way to store. But there's maybe other way
Yeah. Yeah.
to do it. I mean, I don't say that proof of life is actually the
Uh
system,
huh.
but it's one of the system that will fit. You know, when you put your head on the pillow, you
Mm-hmm.
just want to sleep good, right?
Yeah.
And for 3 years with Daedalus, I didn't sleep good at all
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was always quite sometimes scared
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
open Daedalus and see that maybe,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
What happened?
something
Yeah.
wrong, right?
Yeah.
You never know, because actually I had like 30 years of life saving there. So it
Mm-hmm.
was, for me, it was very important. Actually,
Yeah.
because I had to close my account in Europe because I'm not European citizen,
Wow.
and I didn't want all my money to go to Thailand, because when once it's in there, you cannot move it out.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Th-
crypto
Th-
was perfect.
Thailand has some repatriation of money rules. I lived in India for some time. Very strict currency controls about moving money
Yeah,
out of the country. It's the same in Thailand.
yeah,
The
yeah,
same.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Interesting.
And the king face is on every bill. So, and the king in Thailand is more than a god. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
just, respect the money so much, and it will be hard for people to go from a bill with their king to a Cardano wallet.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So
um,
so you're living the life in Thailand, and you're playing around in the crypto space, and you're kind of wondering what happens in an accident. So can you tell me a little bit? I've read it, or I've listened to you before, but maybe for some of the viewers and everything,
mhm.
right? Uh
Yeah, sure, sure.
how how is this solution better than, like writing down your seed, or in your will telling someone, this is my seed phrase, please go get your crypto from me this way,
Mm.
or I'm just imagining
I,
it.
I, I,
Hmm.
I think you need to have 2 or 3 ways to make sure that
Hmm.
things, people that are actually making safe system like you
Hmm.
offer, should continue to use that and
Hmm.
not only use proof of life. But if they can have proof of life on top of what they have already set up,
Hmm.
it's a second layer of security, and
Hmm.
make you feel even better, and then things go automatically,
Look, can
right?
can I
So
try to explain my understanding of what you're proposing,
sure,
and
sure.
because I think it does have a unique value. So I think that this is not my real seed, right? But this is just a test thing, right? But if you
Mhm.
if you were to write down your seed phrase here, the difference is if you give this to someone, they have full control of your wallet, or they can even take your money, right? But
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
interesting thing to me that you've done is, uh, if I educate my children on how a crypto wallet works, and I give them the seed phrase to that wallet,
Mhm.
right? They know it. They have access to no funds until I fail to meet my
Empty
proof of
wallet.
life. Right? It's an empty wallet, but I can prepare them by teaching them, this is how you use it. This is what it is. But they don't have access to any of my funds. It's only when I fail to trigger the thing for like 3 times in a row for some number of months, or maybe however much I set up in the beginning, then my funds would get automatically transferred into a wallet they control, or maybe multiple wallets, right? If I have multiple children and I want to divide the
or
thing,
or or an exchange,
or an
and
exchange. Okay.
some exchange can be configured to convert incoming cryptocurrency
Ah.
into fiat directly. So there's one option there.
Mm. Mm.
Actually,
Mm.
it's just a Cardano address, right? You just
Mm-hmm.
need
Yeah.
address,
Mm-hmm.
so it can work basically everywhere.
Yeah. I would actually, for the purposes of a will, I understand the convenience of automatically converting it into fiat, maybe, but I would be concerned about, at the point in the future, whether or not that exchange still exists or not. Right.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I would personally, of course, you can put in whatever address you want to receive the funds, but who who
Exactly.
who knows in the crypto space? I remember Mount Gox and that kind of
Exactly.
stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
These things can happen. So
Yeah.
if you,
It will appear in the disclaimer.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. So the idea is that if you, maybe it's similar to hostage movie kind of scenario, right? You show the newspaper of today, or you push the button on the app, and you say, yes, I'm still here, I'm still existing. And
Exactly.
if some kind of trigger condition fails, then after some amount of time, you send out the funds. So this is the idea, right?
Exactly.
And
And we can add some security layer with Prism, Atala Prism, to identify you, to make sure that the one who pressed the button. But even if it's somebody else who pressed the button, actually is just saying keep the funds there.
Yeah.
It's not pushing a button to say send the transaction, right? It's just if somebody else has an access, you will just snooze it for another month or for another week or for another year, right?
So Patrick and I, who's actually in channel right now, we were kind of brainstorming this idea a little on stream. I think you probably saw it, and I was imagining how we could implement this, on the blockchain without having to like develop a mobile app for it, maybe, right? Like just in the thing. And so because when the smart contracts are finally released, of course it would be nice to have that friendly user experience integrated into the wallet, but I think the core concept can actually be done very simply, and I want to get your feedback on it, because I think it actually can also maybe touch on the funding model a little bit, because the idea that we're having is, what if this button that you're pushing is actually, a minimum transaction sent to an address in the smart contract, right? So the smart contract, when you write it, it says, these are the funds that I'm wanting to bequeath to my other address if I don't check in, and here is another address that I need to basically send 0.0018 ADA to or something, right? Every year or every month, right? And if that condition isn't met, then execute this smart contract. And I think that would be a very simple contract to write in you know what I mean? Because it's all just like purely thing.
I had a different way of seeing the financing way was actually to give the smart contract free. I mean, it will be open source. Nobody will put their fund if it's not open source, so everybody could use it. But just making it in a way that you get it free, for example, from a wallet. So if you have your own wallet, a Cardano wallet, you have this already implemented natively inside, and every time you decide to open or to write a proof of life smart contract for one wallet, then you will pay like $1 or something. Not on every transaction, because I don't. I want this to be able
easy and
to
cheap to use.
in Africa, in India, where pressing this button and spending money will be
too expensive. So sorry, to be clear, that address, both addresses can be owned by the owner or the smart contract, not by the third party. That's what I'm imagining. But
we can find different way to finance.
The point is, though, is as you were talking about with Atala Prism, if you were to make it a little bit stricter, you can say that if I need to receive at one of my own addresses, a minimum transaction from this specific address, because I was thinking about this with my wife. If I were to set it up the way I described it originally, anyone could keep you alive by sending you 1 ADA to this smart contract address, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? In the bad way. So a further step would be to say, only accept I am still alive from my own personal wallet, right? And just to be clear, I control both wallets. It's not a third party wallet.
But technically we need to define what is possible. Can we stake with this smart contract, right? Because if you plan to keep most of your money on one of these wallets, you need to be able to stake it. Secondly, is the smart contract able to update? I mean, can we trigger and say, okay, we have 100,000 and we send 100,000, right? Or we say, okay, we have 100,000 and after 5 years we will have staked 120,000. And then is the smart contract able to update the remaining balance? So the balance will be zero to the wallet, and everything will. So that's your part. You are the
Yeah.
genius.
No,
I
no, no.
am the
I'm
one
not
who
a
get the
genius.
idea, and the developer need to solve that problem.
So I like this because I feel like we're brainstorming on the channel, and one thing that we were confused about, like I think technically if you put these funds into the smart contract, they're kind of like in escrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because if you
They're
die,
not.
then they're not. But from a smart contract perspective, right? If we want to actually send this out and we want it to be on chain, they would kind of be there. So you would almost need to make like a kind of system where I'm imagining now that when you put it in there, it's actually maybe staking those funds for you. Maybe in a number of stake, either you can choose your own stake pool, or there's a default pool, which is the proof of life pools, right? That are
Mm-hmm.
basically able to fund the project through the staking fees, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting to me about this idea now is not for me as a personal pool operator, but I'd really like to see pool operators offer more differentiation in what they're offering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other
Yeah.
than just like I'm running it on this hardware, it's a fancy hardware, internet kind of thing. But I can imagine that if you were to make a pool to host this, right? That
Mm-hmm.
again, maybe you allow people to choose other pools as well. Maybe that's the $1 fee or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make it free, totally, say you can just stake with us, and that will cover the fee, right? And I think that
Yeah.
would be a
Yeah.
really exciting idea. Is that all you can not just proof of life, but you offer some service in exchange for access to be holding these funds temporarily, providing some
Mm-hmm.
value to the person, and
Yeah, that's great.
that could be cool for Nostradamus to rebuild his ADA bags again, because it's yeah.
uh,
I personally
yeah.
lost a lot of money trying to trade ADA. I'm still making multiples of what I started with, but I could have had much more ADA than I do have
Yeah.
if I had just bought and held than if I had tried to trade.
Yeah,
So
but in
I'm
my
sympathetic.
retirement plan, I didn't think about that pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And if I leave Thailand, they will help me to leave the country. They will
Mhm.
not help me to come back to the country. I mean, the restrictions are so hard.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be international homeless, right?
Mhm.
So I had to stay here, and I had to buy this 33,000 US dollar
Visa.
for a 20-year visa.
Mm.
Otherwise, I will just have to leave the country and then
Mhm.
have to be to some Belgium. I mean, there's no reason for me to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
back to Belgium. It will be another country.
Mhm.
So it was very headache. So I had to sell everything
Mhm.
before it moon.
Ah,
So if
ca-
I could have waited a month, I will be chatting from my hotel room, not from my home.
Patrick is asking $33,000 for a 20-year visa. I think you must be talking about some kind of retirement visa or investor visa, something like that,
No,
or
no,
no?
the retirement visa is actually way cheaper.
Oh yeah.
But you have to be 50, and I'm 49 in a few
Ah,
months. So yeah, yeah. So no, I was squeezed, man. I don't know
man.
how you call that tool
Yeah.
when you want to hang something very strong. I was squeezed
Your balls were
so
in a
much.
vice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so bad.
Actually, I didn't lose money, and it's great stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But my retirement plan just fall into Thai government money pocket, and that's great. I mean, if I see that it's just like 100 euro, like 120 US dollar per month, and I'm totally okay to pay this to the country because
Uh-huh.
I use the road, I use the electric, I use the police
Yeah.
station, I use the what they have there. So I'm okay to pay taxes, and compared to Belgium taxes, it's very low here. So
Yeah,
I'm
must be.
okay to pay this amount, but
Must
it
be.
was just not planned as it is.
I see. And
Yeah.
so I know you're actively trying to get some developer to kind of work on this with you. I'm interested personally. Like I said, I see value as a user.
Hmm.
But maybe I don't know. Can you I don't know my schedule and everything. Can you pitch to any developers who might be watching this what you think you need, or what you're looking for? You're basically looking for someone to develop this in a smart contract, or also some kind of
Yeah.
mobile app, or what is it that you need?
Yeah. Actually, when I was on the Catalyst project,
Mm-hmm.
I contacted team of developers, and they give me a very high amount of money, like 50,000 US dollar, to
Mm-hmm.
develop an app, to develop different things, and it was very expensive. So,
Yeah.
Catalyst, I didn't go through all the things because it was getting late and it was
Yeah.
not, yeah. So I said, okay, let's do it myself, because basically we can just run a smart contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be just a smart contract. So the way we run this smart contract is actually on the hands of the developers, because they know what they need to do that. And basically, it's not that much of piece of work, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You just need, what I want to pitch to the developers, and can be any developer, even not in the Cardano ecosystem, but
Mm-hmm.
please, if we can have this service on Cardano, it will attract people from other cryptocurrency to say, hey, they have this on Cardano, we don't have this on Tron, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just move some funds there. And also, this is an open source idea. I'm not here to make millions of money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to try to build a safer crypto ecosystem. And that's one tool to do it. It's not the only tool, it's one tool to do it. And if developers just want to take the idea and do it their way, and make it available, for me it will be just great, because I don't have any kids, but I have a Buddhist temple where I want my fund to go through, and I don't want my funds to go to some where I don't know. Basically, I'm living alone here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have people to give my money, so it will be Buddhist donation. So I just want to make sure that things can go can be sent when I die, and not giving them just some seeds, and you know how it can go. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I would tend to agree. I think if you want to make a mobile app, it's going to be a lot more expensive. But I was trying to mess around on Marlowe, and
mhm.
I think they have almost what you want. It's called an escrow contract, right? But
Yeah.
I think that a slight modification of that escrow contract would basically make proof of life live, and uh,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
it's
But
it's pretty interesting.
we need to find a way to send notification by mail, for example. Right. So we need SMTP servers.
Mm.
We need a provider that allows you to send mails and stuff. So
Yes. Yeah.
there's a bunch. We have to set up the option that people can just decide the months, the weeks, the days, the time lapse, and how often the notification will arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I didn't see anything like that. Like, basically, it's just like a snooze system. It's just like your clock will ring every month, and you just press the snooze button, it will snooze for another month. I don't see anything like that in smart contract yet.
Yeah.
Um,
That that
and
that
that's
that that's
that.
why I was imagining that if to do it in like a very cheap way, the by setting up this rule that you just have an address that is receiving the funds, right?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
how it could be implemented, maybe in a smart contract way, so that
Yep.
it's very minimal, and you basically just need Daedalus or Yoroi, and
Hmm.
you would have to manage the reminders and everything yourself in like a Google Calendar or something, right? But if
Hmm.
you did it
Hmm.
that way, I don't think it's a long-term solution, but I think it's like a minimum viable
Yep.
implementation that,
Yep.
like it gets the project going. And
Yep.
I always prefer in my world that I work in. I think I don't know if you know. I started out as an architect, and we always use architectural models to sell
Hmm.
ideas to clients, right? So
Hmm.
I now that I work in the corporate world, I still use a lot of that technique, which is to people basically their eyes glaze over when they watch a PowerPoint, right? It's
Yeah.
boring as fuck. Nobody wants to watch this, right? Like, so whenever
Sure.
possible, I try to give some physical demo, right? And
Yeah.
so the same way that I made the what do you call it? That little map tool that I make, right? That I
Hmm. Yep.
make
Yeah.
updates for, right?
Beautiful.
Like
Beautiful.
is
Absolutely beautiful.
it's mostly other people's code that I've just repurposed for this, but I'd rather than talk about it, just make something, and then people can criticize it or try to improve on it. But I think with what you're talking about, I'm okay that when this launches, I would like to try to implement it in a Haskell smart contract or Plutus, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And but I'm very uninterested in mobile app development, right? Like icons and the user experience, which is very
Yeah.
important for an app like this to be user friendly, right? But
Yeah.
I think what we could do is something like that, maybe, where we basically make the back end smart contract, and if people want to use it themselves, they can hack together a solution. But maybe to take it to the next level where it's friendly to use or something, then maybe that is a catalyst fund or some other fundraising source to try to make it
Yeah.
viable.
Yeah.
But
What the final goal is officially to be on Daedalus and Yoroi.
I think Yoroi is possible. I think Daedalus is very
Yeah,
restricted
I
in how
talked to
they
a
act,
guy.
right?
Yeah, I talked to a guy who is building his own crypto wallet, Cardano wallet, and he's using a different system. He's using Java, and I don't know what they are using.
Is it the Jor Manager guy, the guy who makes Jor Manager?
No, he's
No.
the guy who built the shop.
Oh, the Shopify, the Shopify integration.
Shopify.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Right.
actually, he's explaining that on Yoroi. I mean, I was just learning what he's saying. It was just new. I just tried to repeat as he said. Is that on Yoroi, the way they build it is that if you want to add like a plugin program or plugin smart contract or plugin option to the Yoroi, the way they build the update will be a very headache, because actually this is Yoroi who need to update. You cannot update your app yourself. You need to wait for your update to update the complete wallet of smart contracts and plugins that you have plugged into. And the way he doing it is that actually you will have like a library of plugins. I create proof of life plugins. I want to send it to him, and I can make the updates without him to change the update of the wallet, which I think it's quite interesting. So I'm not sure that Yoroi architecture at the moment is ready for this kind of things. I think they want to keep an hand on everything and just make sure, just like an iPhone way of seeing things,
Yeah.
just like we need to approve your app before we do anything. So yeah, because it's going to be a lot of scam also in this kind of stuff. People will just post their app there and their plugins, and so we have to be careful.
Patrick is making fun of my bad German pronunciation.
Oh, what about my French?
Je ne parle pas Deutsch or something. Yeah, I can pretend to speak French a little bit, but how do we say that, Patrick? Jormungandr. No, I can't do it. I give up. So yeah. I don't know.
Those names, dude.
So you've talked to various developers. It seems like different people have different ideas on how it might get done. Like I said, if you're interested and you can't find anyone else, I'm happy to try to modify this, not this, but the Haskell version of this into just the bare bone smart contract. But the way I see it, it would be very dangerous because you'd have to remember to send the Daedalus money to yourself, right? You'd be sending money from one of your wallets to another one of your wallets. It doesn't cost them anything other than the transaction fee in Daedalus of 0.17 ADA, which for some countries could be cost prohibitive, right? But I'm just imagining that the user basically chooses how often they want to be reminded and maybe how many times they can miss in a row before the contract is executed, right? Yeah, so something like that. They choose those two values, and then they set it up, and it goes. So it could be pretty interesting, and it could be maybe just a nice little thing. As you said, it's an open source thing, and maybe the defaults are built in, like we were saying. By default, you're staking with some pool or whatever to try to develop it further. But I think it's a very nice idea, and we
Personally, I
use,
did
yeah.
my job. I mean,
Mhm.
I had the ID and I just give the ID to the community, and the first who will build it, the best who will build it, and there will probably be, I don't know, a
Yeah.
few version of it, and people will just say, okay, I will choose the genuine version
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
from
yeah.
NostrADamus, or they just take a copy from no, I don't want to name it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something.
Gumpur or something wallet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
know?
Very funny. Okay. So, I'm wondering, you're in Bangkok. Is there a cryptocurrency scene in? I don't know if you're in Bangkok. I'm assuming you're in Bangkok. You're somewhere in Thailand. Uh, what is the crypto scene like there? You said you walk into hotels and try to get them to accept crypto. Has any hotel known what crypto is when you walked in and accepted it, or were you able to convince anyone yet, or how's that going?
I missed a few seminar there, people meeting. I think there was even one or two Cardano meeting in Bangkok
Mm-hmm.
with a few people.
Okay.
I'm not in Bangkok, so traveling there costs me time. It's
Yeah.
mostly time. I mean, it takes you 2 days to have a meeting with 10 people for an hour. I mean, I prefer to meet people on Zoom, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then we can have a 2 3 days and then really develop something. But in 1 hour, everybody come with his ID. Mostly people don't listen to each other. They just, I mean, yeah.
What?
So no,
Wow.
we have something, but that one baht here,
Thai baht. Yeah.
the fiat currency here, it's so, like I said before, it's so important due to I mean, Thailand never been colonized. It's one of the only country in Asia that's never been colonized. So
Mm-hmm.
um, they are very proud of their money. They're very proud
Yeah.
of their country, and they want to protect as much as they can. And that's exactly what they need to do, because for example, land registration here, it's a big topic. So there's plenty of things to do on smart contracts here, and developing stuff, but they are attached to their culture so
Mm.
much,
Mm.
and they basically, what comes outside from Thailand is not good enough for Thailand. It
Mm.
needs to be developed in Thailand.
Mm.
We need to have a Thai Cardano.
Mm.
Then maybe they will start to say, okay, this is a Thai company run by a Thai guy, or this is a Thai coin or something like that.
I just sent
Then
you the like I said, the one stake pool I'm aware of that is Cardano. Maybe it's useful for you to kind of connect with them
okay,
and try to develop some kind of
yeah,
relationship
sure,
with the people
sure,
inside Thailand who are doing
yeah,
I wonder if
that's
there's any other pools there. Let me just see.
yeah.
Uh
I try to travel as less as possible now,
yeah.
because
I mean just on
I don't
email
want.
or whatever, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
because if you
yeah,
are you're active in the Cardano space and
yeah.
I
I don't
I, I
want to be
yeah.
locked down in Bangkok for months or so,
Yeah,
and there's
don't go
always a
into
risk that they will
Bangkok.
close the city for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, your map is absolutely beautiful, man.
No,
It's just, you just want to go through all those points. It's just amazing.
yeah, this is actually a open source Uber software that I've just instead of using to analyze traffic patterns,
Uh-huh.
using it to analyze anything geospatially. This is Vietnam. This is not Thailand. So
Okay.
where is this? And this is Indonesia, maybe over here. So I don't
No, no,
see
the one that looks like an elephant with a long nose is Thailand.
this one. This one on the coast, right?
I don't let me.
Oh,
I
oh, I'm
will
not.
look
I'm
at.
not sharing my screen. Sorry. Let me.
No, no, you're sharing, but the borders are not
Not so
clear
sharp.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so sharp. No, the Thailand is the one. It looks like really like an elephant head with the two big ears and the
yeah,
long nose. Is it a trunk? You call that a trunk, or
yeah,
what's it called?
yeah. I think this is Thailand. I'm pretty sure. No. Oh, this one. This one.
No.
Yeah, this more inland one. So there's one. There's
Yeah.
a
Okay. Now you got it. Now
yeah,
you got the
another
name.
labels
Okay.
on. So
Okay. But
there's somebody
Thailand
in
go.
Vietnam, but not in Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah, but Thailand go very south. I mean, you
Yeah,
can go
all the
very
way down.
very. Yeah. I'm at the same level than Phuket, so we are in South
Ah,
Thailand.
you're hot.
Yeah.
You're in a hot place.
We never go below 26 degrees during the night.
yeah.
Never. Never. I never want to have cold in my life. I've been cold enough.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
that's this
There you go.
cold feeling is never again.
There
Never
you go.
again.
Yeah, yeah. I
No,
I
no,
I
no.
I lived for some time in northern USA where it was snowing for like 4 or 5 months a year. It was not fun.
Yeah.
I moved to that.
But
That's why I was okay with moving to India for 3 years because I needed to defrost. So
yeah,
it was
if you have a warm bed, it's okay. But if
yeah,
you have
yeah,
a cold bed, this is
yeah.
just you just want to be somewhere else, right?
Okay. Do you have any other projects you're working on other than Proof of Life, or is there any misconceptions people have of Proof of Life that you want to get out there, or anything else?
Actually, no.
Mm-hmm.
That came just like that because Charles wanted to solve those problems, and I was like, okay, let's work on it. But if someone has a problem, they can just send me say, yo,
You you
I'm
you.
dealing with that.
I think you said there were two problems that Charles said to you. One of them was what,
If you lose
dying?
your key,
Mm.
but it's the same way. I mean, you can
Yeah.
still alive, but you just don't press that button, and
Yeah.
you wait and you wait. You cannot withdraw it directly, right? So,
Oh, that's a good point. So you
yeah,
actually Proof of Life is solving both of these problems, right?
yeah,
You basically have
exactly.
a backup wallet, and maybe even if you haven't passed away, if you trusted this person to inherit, you might be able to convince them to give you back your funds, right? With this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as you are alive,
Mm-hmm.
you still own your seat on your backup
Mm-hmm.
wallet. So you
Yeah.
can just transfer, you don't tell anyone, and you
Yeah.
just go to your wallet and you
Yeah.
just do what you want with it. You just
Mm.
retransfer. You will always be actually the owner of the backup wallet.
Got it.
Yeah.
Patrick is asking in chat, where are you originally from, Nostradamus? France? You don't have to answer
France.
this question. You can tell him to fuck off.
No, Patrick is on every of your life. He's
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
spending a lot of time.
Uh-huh.
And the most valuable things
Mhm.
that you spend that you will never get back is your time. And people spending time with you or with me or with anyone is just that this is the most valuable gift they can give you
I
to
remember you
listen
saying
to.
that on the channel, and that's one of the reasons I liked you because I thought in the crypto space you have a lot of kind of pump and dump, kind of seedy personality type people, and I had never heard a profound life philosophy that I thought was worth listening to while trying to trade ADA or any other crypto. So I really
Mm,
appreciate that, Nostradamus, and I appreciate the perspective. I really do hope that you get back into making videos. I think there's something very passionate about what you do, and don't let any silly camera or audio setup whatever discourage you because you like I think I told you your passion was one, every night I would search for Cardano in the YouTube
yeah,
and sort by most recent videos, and I was always happiest when there was a Nostradamus video because
thank you.
it meant that I was going to have an entertaining 20 to 30 minutes and maybe hear a little bit of
Thank
life
you.
philosophy or
You,
something like that. So I appreciate that.
in 2018, Charles was asking for me, do
Uh
you have
huh.
a question for me, Nostradamus? And then we have this kind of fight with him. And then
Uh-huh.
middle of 2018, he was saying like, "Oh, that guy that never seems to go away." And I was like, "Charles, you don't understand anything. I'm not here
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm not here for your personality. I'm here for your vision."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's in Buddhism, there's a great difference between your personality and 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 your soul
Mm.
and your mind. And Charles, his vision, I just love it. If he can make everything he does, he speaks, he says,
Mm-hmm.
that's wonderful, right? But okay, let me just give you one example that
Mm.
people call me troll for that and ban me for that. And I was, Charles sometimes say,
COVID, the
if it
car.
hurts, yeah,
Yeah.
if it scare you, if it hurts, it's because you're right. Because
Mm.
they were saying on Cardano Foundation they have 1 million
Mm-hmm.
community members, community individuals, one
Mm-hmm.
million individuals, and the word individuals is very important. It means each and every person,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can easily see that there's no 1 million. At that time, it was not 1 million. And Charles was repeating this information, and was Charles, make the count. And then it was a compound of Twitter, of Facebook, of Reddit, and
Oh,
said,
so I have
okay,
5 of those accounts, right? So I'm 5
yeah,
people, yeah.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And when you try to tell the truth and it hurts,
Mm-hmm.
people ban you, and that's what make me give up at that time. It was like, okay, guys, if you are not able to understand that a guy who is planning to invest millions of Cardano, make his own research, heard about 1 million individuals, make deeper research, and find out that finally we are maybe 100,000 or 200,000. What we look like? We look like a scam company because
Yeah.
it comes from the Cardano Foundation,
Yeah.
right?
I,
They,
I think what you're saying is very important, and I have nothing but love and respect for Charles and what he's trying to do, but I do think that the big test for Cardano will be when Charles doesn't matter, right?
yeah, exactly,
When
exactly,
Cardano is bigger than Charles, and so I do
exactly.
hope that there's a lot of strong discussion in the community, and new voices that also come up, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying is right, and I think it's really I really respect people who speak truth to power, right?
Uh-huh.
It's not easy, and I think one thing the maybe I don't know your background, but one thing in my personal background from architecture is we're very honest and critical of each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Mm-hmm.
designing a building that's going to last for 30 to 50 years, it's not like software where you can easily change something after you've built it, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
what we do is we really tear each other apart while we're
Mm-hmm.
designing something, and
Mm-hmm.
we shit on each other, and we very harshly criticize, but we
Mm-hmm.
understand that you're criticizing the idea, you're not
Yeah,
criticizing the person, and the intention is
exactly.
to push the idea and make it better. And I
Mm-hmm.
think some people in the Cardano community have a problem with separating criticism of idea from criticism of a person, and so
Okay,
yeah,
can I go to
go,
this?
please do.
And just to answer Patrick, I am in the
Yeah.
French part of Belgium, so it's
Ah,
because
oui, oui, oui.
I didn't answer that. So okay, so when you say that some people actually see one things, or maybe only the good,
Mhm,
and not see what could be improved or something,
mhm,
it's really similar to the quantum world.
mhm,
This duality, we are dual things. We can be seen as a wave, we can see and as a particle, and
Collapse.
as long as we don't understand that we can be both in the same state, critical but supporter,
Mhm.
then you are a complete human being,
Yeah.
because you are able to deal with those two feelings inside you that say, sorry, I don't want to say a bad word, but
You can
if you
say
are
bad words. This channel makes no money. You can say bad words.
okay, if you're just a cocksucker, I mean, you just miss 50% of your life. If you are able to support Charles,
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
I mean, even for a girlfriend, I didn't travel 9,000 kilometers for
Uh-huh.
30-minute video, right?
Uh-huh.
So I had a huge care for him to just try to do my best
Mhm,
to support and do everything, right?
mhm,
And I start my interview asking him, how did you never ban me because I criticize you
mhm,
so much,
mhm.
right? And he said, thank you for the critique, but then it
It
turns
evolved. Yeah, yeah,
bad
yeah.
afterward, because it was, Charles, for before you arrived there, it
Mhm,
was a doubt that
mhm.
actually Shelley will come up.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It was
yeah.
nearly a failure, and
I yeah.
we could really feel it, and I was scared at the time, and it was a time he wanted to fight Chico Crypto, and I said, what the fuck? Come on,
Yeah, yeah.
come on, yeah, it's no time for that. Time for that when you are number one on top of on Bitcoin, that's
Mhm,
great, but
mhm.
now we were at 2 cents at that time, right?
Mm, mm.
2 cents, right?
Man,
So
I wish I was
that
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So all in all, I think people need to be a bit more critic. Even when Charles say, okay, even now,
Mhm,
is always keep this open box, this open window in your
mhm,
mind to say, okay, this comes from him. I used to work as a journalist photographer, cross
mhm.
information, just try to find both sources that can confirm what he's saying is saying, and then take both speech and try to find your own way. And I think this is the wiser way. But if you're criticizing, you get banned, and then you
Yeah.
have no. room anymore to explain the support that you want to give them.
I wanna do ask you one more thing. One thing that I've observed that is confusing to me is that the Reddit and all these other communities are owned by the Cardano Foundation, and
Correct.
so there's all these kind of rules, and I don't know if it's related to a little bit of your drama, right? But like,
Totally.
I think the Cardano community needs to create a forum, and right now that's kind of Twitter, but I don't actually like Twitter. Like I never used Twitter before making a stake
It's
pool,
toxic sometimes, yeah.
right? But I think even just a Cardano community subreddit that is not run by the Cardano Foundation, that is actually run by the community, would be maybe a first step in the direction. And I also want to encourage you, NostrADamus, to possibly open a pool, maybe partnering with some kind of technical person or something like that, because I think you were and should continue to be a very big part of this community, from not from the Cardano Foundation, not from IOHK, not from Emergo, but a kind of a grassroots organizer. And it has nothing to say with anything against the Cardano Foundation or IOHK or any of those people, but for Cardano to really grow, it needs to move beyond the confines of this closed wall, right? So
that's why they try to build with Ben, Gospel, to build this decentralized social network. And I think I don't know, you're more in the AI than I am, but it could be cool. But what I regret is that the COC, the code of conduct of the Cardano Foundation, was actually designed and written just as it was a centralized forum. Not thinking about we need to build something different as a decentralized, for example, because it's nice to critique, but if you don't come with solution, that's just trolling, right? So every time I critique is because I have a solution. But I just forget now what I was talking about. Yeah,
community forum.
Rotating moderators, because we have the same 2 or 3 guys managing Reddit, managing the forums, managing this and this and that, and even people who get banned from Twitter, he get banned also from forum.
Yeah.
I say, why? So there you're banning the man. You're not just banning from the forum. For example, man, the guy A, the black guy who make live stream. I think.
Yeah. You were on. I was on earlier. Yeah, very interesting. Cast.live or yeah.
It's cast.live. Yeah. He's a great guy. I spent the first time I met him, we spent 4 time talking, and he's exactly just like us. We have space for criticism as long as they're to build better instead of destroying, right? I never said Cardano is a scam. Never. I never said Charles is a scammer. Never that things like that. Yeah. I just said he's wrong about this and he's wrong, and his choice is my choice. But this guy, man, has also a problem with Rick. So Rick banned him on Twitter, and in the same time banned him on the Cardano Foundation roadmap.
That's weird. Because
that's so. To finish with it, what I would like to have is to have anonymous moderators with no names, and people with no names, so you don't know who is moderating you, and you don't know what is posting what. So in this case, we remove this personal conflict that people can have.
I actually read an interesting idea that the one thing that's so confusing to me about Cardano is how much we latch on to personalities in this community. And I never imagined, when I first came into crypto, it was through Bitcoin and anonymity and all this thing. I was really confused when I opened my stake pool, like why everyone is like putting their face out there, and why you have to market on YouTube to get and eventually I had to do it too if I wanted my pool to succeed. And
I quite understand, because if I stake, I want to see to who.
And I understand it's like it's a natural human tendency to latch on to people, but I think one of the core principles of crypto is anonymity and this kind of thing. So I've kind of justified it now because whenever I show people the map that I make, the number one thing they think is, oh, that's me on the map, and I have to explain, no, Cardano or the blockchain doesn't track anything about Delegator. I think the stake pool operator sacrifices some anonymity so that their server's location is known, but nothing else is known by the individual delegator. So, a little bit we're in handcuffs sharing some personal information so that other people can preserve their anonymity. And that's kind of how I justed it. But
I think we need that as long as we are not, because let's imagine, okay, we have those 4 or 5 moderators.
yeah,
Great. What when we will be 1 billion, 2 billion users,
it
as
doesn't
Charles
scale.
says?
It doesn't scale.
How do you scale? So you need to have an automated system that is intelligent, and maybe Ben Gossel and Charles will develop something that maybe you can jump in it. You are in the AI. I
Could be
mean,
fun.
when I was listening to you, that you could maybe leave your job in case the pool and yeah.
My wife has told me it's not so smart to talk about leaving your job on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, don't do that, man. Don't do that. I mean, volatility is so high now that
I'm very grateful.
stills can make you lose 20% in a day, and then
Yeah.
that's risky. I mean, you can make money and develop things by keeping both. I
Yep.
mean, yeah,
What
but
what
why
opportunities
about
do you think exist right now in Cardano? What I like about your thing, your proof of life content, more than even the proof of life is, there's not a lot of I feel like really useful use cases for crypto, and so I'm wondering if what I would encourage you to do is maybe if you want to stay in this idea space, keep coming up with good ideas, right? And let's try to develop some of them into actual, skeleton, like minimum viable implementation. But it's a beautiful thing what you've done, and we
the
need to
minimum
take it
viable
next.
is very hard because I cannot develop myself. I
Yeah,
cannot.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
just have the idea. Actually, I have 8 concepts. One is voice over IP. One is related to the Wi-Fi MAC address. One is related to concert and live shows and music bands. Because if you can catch Lady Gaga buying ADA, right? You touch millions of people just by getting one person.
Yeah.
And the rapper, this music guy who have like 2 or 3
Akon
million followers,
yeah,
something
the
like
other
that.
one.
I mean, that's the kind of things that we have. Imagine that you have some kind of QR code that you can scan when you enter a festival, and then you will be the only one to be able to download the music or download the video, for example, right? And then this can be resold. So because you have only one copy and you have to find ways not to be able to copy that, but just transfer it, then you can maybe add some value and say, okay, I buy it for $1, but you really want it, okay, I sell it to you to $2, but 30 cents go to the artist.
Yeah. So yeah,
and then we can create a system of making value on music or creations.
I have a question for you. Are you involved in the tourism industry at all with Airbnb or anything like that in Thailand?
Used to.
Yeah. So I have an idea that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I want to get your maybe feedback from a tourism angle. Most of these web 2.0 whatever companies like Airbnb or Uber or even like Alibaba, they're basically reputation platforms online that take 30% cut, right?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying, right? Like Airbnb, why it works is that you put your house on, and I'm an Airbnb user. I can't trust you directly, but I trust Airbnb, and I trust that 100 other people have successfully transacted with you. So I go to your hotel. But what I think is crazy is that all these platforms take like 30% and provide not a lot of value, right?
It's not always 30%, but I mean they are needed. I'm one of the things that you should know. But let's talk about TripAdvisor, for example.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same than Airbnb. They basically send you customers, right? They are big enough to send you customers. 2 years before the COVID, TripAdvisor, many years before that, but they bought a competitor which is called Viator, which is they can sell. So what they did on TripAdvisor, they removed the link, they removed the phone number, they removed my email address from my TripAdvisor page, and instantly,
Dead.
instantly,
Hmm.
no more booking, no more booking, zero, right?
Mm.
So they leave you, they leave you like this for a few months, and then they say, okay, Viator now they takes only 20%, right? So this centralized system happened before crypto, or during when I was still crypto, and I was like, okay, I want to remove my money from my bank, and I want
Mm.
to get rid of decentralized system like
Mm.
TripAdvisor.
Mm.
Let's move to crypto.
So
We
so
really
yeah.
need that.
So that's what I'm saying is I would like to build a kind of reputation system on Cardano where
Mm-hmm.
my hypothesis is that if you're pretty good at renting your hotel, you're probably also trustworthy as an individual, right? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe that can be leveraged into some other new space. Like it's funny. I've had an eBay account for like 20 years almost, maybe 15 years is the real number. But I
Yeah.
use this online everywhere where I say, here's my eBay. If I'm like buying and selling some goods on some other forum, like some subreddit, I reference my eBay account because I'm a known quantity. I've been doing transactions for a long time, but this is all eBay's private information, and so I think it's
Mm-hmm.
related to Atala Prism. But whether it's TripAdvisor or Uber or Airbnb, I would really be interested in building a reputation system on Cardano that
Yeah.
people can kind
Yeah.
of use. But
Um,
mm.
I don't know how you say that in English, but in French we say it's two-blade sharp,
A
two sides.
double-edged sword,
Yeah, yes, I
something
don't
like
know. It just means that
cuts
okay,
both ways.
reputation can be great,
Yeah.
but once if a group of people just decide to destroy you,
Mm-hmm.
how do you defend that?
Yeah, that's
How
true.
do you defend that?
Mm.
If a competitor just decide to say,
Send a
okay, let's
troll.
pick 50 people and just destroy this competitor who is just
Mm.
next door, that's really sharp knife, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be extremely dangerous.
Mm.
How were we doing before?
Mm-hmm.
How were we doing before? We have this Michelin book,
Mm. Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
Michelin.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and when you travel,
Tire
you read
company. Yeah.
things, and but they were professional. There were
Mm.
people who were doing this all day long.
Mm.
But sometimes you have people who consider themselves that they are gastronomic critic, and they destroy the restaurant just because they didn't like that the waitress didn't answer the smile that the guy sent it to her for a drink, and she refused. And for that reason, this restaurant get a 1 star,
Interesting.
right?
Mm.
So that's very dangerous because people now, as soon as they get disappointed, they just go live, they just go on socials and just destroy you. We always say one customer who is not happy tells to 10 people, one customer who is happy tells to 2 people. People like to complain.
Yeah.
That's why we have trolls in the crypto system. So how were we doing before? How we were doing before is that we were discovering things. We were making mistakes. We were
Mm.
saying, this address, I will never go again. And you learn by yourself, by your own experience. And if you find this restaurant is interesting, you can talk about it to your friend and stuff.
So
But why?
yeah. So it's actually part of this idea was when I was living in India. Indian people do this kind of naturally through their offline social network, right? If they're
Mhm.
moving to if they're coming from the countryside, they're moving into the city. Like, have you ever seen the movie Spaceballs?
Not sure.
Very old
Don't think so.
comedy, but you must have seen Star Wars, right? Luke, I am your
Okay.
father, right? So it's a
Okay.
parody of Star Wars, and the scene he goes, the pretend Darth Vader character tells the hero, "I'm your cousins, mothers, sisters, uncles, neighbors, dog walkers, all these ridiculous relationships." But it really reminds me of India because in India that kind of stuff matters. I don't know if in Thailand it does too, right? But people want to latch on to some way of how do I know you from me, right? And if there's no kind of pathway to connect, then
Mhm.
I can't do business with you because you're an unknown quantity, right? I can't
Mhm.
trust
Mhm.
that I can ever see you again, right? But once you have
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
kind of connection, even if it's some ridiculous complicated pathway, then humans kind of open up in India is in my personal
But
experience. But
don't you think that smart contract will solve this problem? This middleman, the man that we need to trust, and we can just
well,
make transactions?
what I'm imagining is actually the problem that I see with TripAdvisor is what you said, is that somebody can hire 50 trolls to go destroy the reputation. But that's because TripAdvisor, I think, is a centralized system. But let's say you're vacationing in Thailand and you're not from Thailand, right? What you want to see is actually not what has everyone on the internet rated all these different places in Thailand, but what have the people you trust and the people you like, what have they rated in Thailand, right?
Exactly.
So you kind of get your own reviews that are, it's not as wide as TripAdvisor, but it's more curated, right? Based on again, this idea that people you trust kind of thing. And so I think that's what I'm thinking.
And you don't want to look like a angry guy or very aggressive guy in front of your friends.
Yeah.
You will also moderate yourself a little bit, not to look like
a fool, right?
Yeah. I used to say a lot of insult before.
It's okay.
Stop with that,
Well, I think we're getting a little bit off topic from the proof of life. If there's anything you all want to add, but I would be very happy to talk to you again in the future about any other ideas. And like I said, I'm pretty interested in the applications in tourism for, and you have personal experience, which I think is very valuable in TripAdvisor.
Do you know Avacoin?
No, I don't. Is this a tourism-related blockchain thing?
That's basically a Airbnb TripAdvisor mixed stuff with crypto, paid with crypto. I think it's Ava Travel. I will send you the link, and maybe we can.
Was that on the subreddit? Somebody booked a vacation recently for like $1,000 paid in ADA. Something like that.
I think it should be on this platform, and they do a great job. But they have deals with others that bring them like 80,000 hotels in one bunch. So they have partnership with some. It's just an improvement of the system. But I don't know about their social media and reputation system. I have no idea. I've never been through that. I was not looking for spending money at the time, actually. So it was hurtful for me to see all those beautiful hotels. No, maybe to close with proof of life, it's just like you said about Charles. It will be great when Cardano will be run without Charles or without any person. It's just that my proof of life system, I can die tomorrow. It doesn't change anything. I'm not holding any codes. I'm not holding anything. It would be open source. I don't want to have a hand on it. I just want to give this idea to the community. I never had somebody who really destroy it and said that's the worst idea on earth. The community was quite warm about that. So.
In closing, then there's that, and like I said, if you're interested in getting a pool started, I think you do have a fan base. So. I'd be happy to help you. I'd be happy to help you get your own pool online if you need help, and maybe Patrick, some other people. But you should definitely you start a pool and attract some pledge, because I would like to see you get some monetary rewards for your passion in ADA and how to get back into a big player. Yeah, so let's figure out how to do that, okay? And if anyone, I think the funny thing is, I think most of the people in my chat are pool operators, rather than delegators. So if not me, you might have a few people who, if you're interested in helping NostrADamus get a pool operating, send your bid to him. What you're charging, right? And
I think my reputation will move ahead for me, and that's maybe the problem. I need to do it anonymously.
I think you have some detractors, but I think you also have some kind of authentic fan base, and I think
that's true.
I would say more than like an average person. I think to actually attract someone to stake with you, they need to have a strong feeling about you. Because otherwise, like there's 50 average pool operators who are saying the same generic bullshit all the time. right? And so who do you end up delegating with? You need one person who actually makes you feel something inside, and you know, then you'll be like,
True,
yes, I will support him. So
true, true.
I think you have a good shot in the community, and I like I said, I think uh, I might not always agree with everything you say in the future, but so far I don't disagree with anything. And even when that happens, I would still like to, you know, mon ami, let's have a beer or something, and I can pretend to speak French, and it will be a fun time. So I hope we can
Could
connect
be fun.
in Thailand sometime soon. I told you I
Yeah.
might have some personal developments happening there, but thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us on the stream today, Nostradamus.
Thank you
Um,
for having me.
and like I said, all the pool operators and channels, send your pitch for why Nostradamus should partner up with you to open a new stake pool, and let's get something going in the community that way. And
Well,
also, proof of life. If you have ideas for that, get in touch with him too.
yeah.
That's the main
That
thing.
would be a way to have visibility and people maybe talk about it. Is that pool is doing something more than
Yeah,
others
yeah.
by providing that the system? It will just be great. And actually, like I said, I did my job by having the idea.
Hmm.
I can try my best to have other idea and stuff, but for the development, for the technical stuff,
Yeah.
that's really something that is not. I mean, I'm 50. I don't want to go deep in this coding and developing and those stuff. I mean, I know it's
the
not my
the
stuff.
the
I
the, the, la-
mean,
the last thing I'll say is actually the you know I happen to use I used to do photography before I studied architecture, and so that's why I
Nikon or
kind of
Canon, Nikon or Canon. Be careful. Be careful.
Nikon F2. I taught myself with black and white, no battery in the camera, and that's why I have a nice camera and other stupid stuff from
Okay.
those days. But
I work from D100, D1, D2, D3, D4
yeah,
on Nikon.
so
Only digital. I
yeah,
used to work for Reuters and Associated Press as a photographer.
beautiful, beautiful. I yeah. So I taught myself in undergrad with black and white, you know, developing film in my closet, putting towels over the windows and everything, right? And I used to say I make photographs. I don't take photographs, right? Because
Oh, okay.
I'm deciding all the settings, right? There's no auto anything on the camera. But
Yeah.
what I wanted to say with I don't know why we jumped into that is so many I'm trying to do a little bit of the media and the technical side, right? I made a YouTube channel and I'm doing all this stuff. But I do
Perfect.
think there's a lot of technical operators who don't really have any kind of media presence or any desire to get into media. So I do think
Hmm.
one of those guys should definitely reach out to someone like you who's
Hmm.
charismatic, who has, you know, a kind of flair for doing this kind of thing, because
Yeah.
I think, you know, you need both together. Those technical guys need some kind of face and some kind of, you know, voice to talk about these things. And you're definitely well informed on the different issues in the crypto space. Whether or not you can do the coding yourself is kind of not important. But I think,
Yeah, but
yeah,
to play a fair game with
mm,
other pools, you need to be on Reddit, you need to be on forum, you need to
yeah,
be on
yeah.
all those media that Cardano Foundation not allowed me to. So you know,
I think the most important is
I was part
YouTube.
of a team. I was part of a team, and they banned my pool without the fact that it was other people included in this stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm just afraid that someone who will just say, "Okay, Nostradamus, I will just help you," that he will get retirement, you say that retaliation
yeah, yeah.
on them, and that's really what something I don't want.
What
That
I would
people,
tell you is on Reddit and on the forum, like the the problem with any non YouTube media is
Mhm.
you're a stake pool operator talking to other stake pool operators.
Yeah,
It's only YouTube where the delegators are.
yeah,
So if you look at Pool.io and you sort by, you know, the active stake, the YouTubers have an insane amount of stake. Like
Mhm.
you think that YouTubers are the most valuable part of the community. And I'm not saying they're not important, right? But
yeah.
but
It's
it
not representative.
yeah, but they're overrepresented, and I'm saying for me, I like to think I know how to play a game, right? Whether or not I
Hmm.
like the game is not important, but the reason this channel exists is if I want my pool to be viable, I need it to be on YouTube. because otherwise, all the other places I'm advertising my stake pool to other stake pool operators. No delegator is looking for a pool in those channels. Patrick, they're on Reddit, but you can't, you know, in the R Cardano, you cannot advertise your pool, right? So you got to do sneaky things like I do, which is provide value in the subreddit with those kind of posts, and then hope that people will delegate with you. But I don't think my pool has seen delegators from that.
Why is the reason that people cannot promote their pool? That's a rule that I just don't understand.
My proposal would be that, like, there should be some signature at least that you're allowed to do. You know, like brought to you by Monad, and you know, maybe the moderators have control when you change it, so it shouldn't be too blatantly whatever. But I think there's a big difference between what I and some other pool operators do in the subreddit and like a blatant "please stake with me" kind of advertisement, right? If you're providing value to someone right now, you can get around the things by including in your username, you know, Monad pool or whatever, right? But that's it, right? And I do think YouTube is really the only place to really attract a serious delegation. So I would encourage you, I wouldn't give up. If I was banned from Reddit, CF, I've never posted on the Cardano forums and Twitter. I think as long as you have a YouTube audience, you have a shot at it. And not a lot of pool operators want to have a YouTube channel. So because you already do, and you already had, I think, what, 200, 300 subscribers. I mean, you're ahead of me. So start and find. I would call out on Twitter. You're looking for someone to help you set up a pool. I'm sure somebody who's got no success at all in running their pool. They have it. Technically, they have it, but they have no delegators. They probably would be okay with some kind of co-branding, NostrADAmus thing. Boom. Change the metadata file.
Maybe use badass concept.
Badass, something.
I like that name. Nobody likes it.
You're a badass, and thank you for making me a little bit more of a badass. I really appreciate your time this evening, NostrADAmus. This is not our last conversation. Anytime. We'll be talking again soon sometime, okay? Thank you so much for joining, and please turn your fan back on. You must be boiling. I really appreciate you sacrificing your comfort for the audio quality. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you to you. Thank you, man. And have a good night, everybody.
Thanks
nice talking to you. Watching. And just like and smash that like and subscribe to this channel, guys. Come on.
Yeah, and go check out NostrADAmus' channel again. Cheers. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.